Hey everybody, welcome back to Miss Anna's At Home Science Lab. Today we are going to be working on something a little bit different. It still deals with drills and safety and knowing what to do in an emergency, but it's not directly related to weather. So we're going to have a little extra lesson today about a natural disaster that we need to be prepared for. Let's see what it might be. We'll watch an anticipatory set to figure it out.
April 18, 1906, California's San Andreas Fault snaps, shaking San Francisco for nearly 60 terrifying seconds. When the trembling stops, the disaster is only beginning. Gas lines rupture, setting off massive fires. Some 700 people die. Most of the city is reduced to ruins. This trembling of the ground, caused when masses of rock suddenly shift below the Earth's surface, is called an earthquake. Hundreds of little earthquakes shake the planet every day, but most pass unnoticed. They usually occur along the boundaries of the thin plates that cover the Earth like an eggshell. Driven by the heat deep within the Earth's core, the plates grind against each other along lines called faults. When the plate's motion is blocked, stress builds up. Finally, the fault gives way. The released energy races through the Earth in the form of seismic waves. Scientists record these waves on a device called a seismograph. These zigzag lines show the strength of various seismic waves. Using the lines, scientists grade earthquakes on the Richter scale. For a quake to measure one number higher on the Richter scale, it must release about 30 times as much energy as the number below it. Every year, about 100,000 earthquakes rumble through the ground hard enough for people to feel them. Of these, only about 1,000 are strong enough to damage property. But a powerful earthquake can be devastating. On average, about 10,000 people die each year as a result of earthquakes. The greatest recorded earthquake ever to hit North America measured a massive 9.2. The tremor struck Alaska on March 28, 1964. A camera on board a ship docked in Valdez recorded the draining of the entire harbor as a chasm opened up on the sea floor. There's no stopping the surface of the Earth from changing and moving. So engineers are focusing on ways to create better buildings, highways, and bridges, structures that will remain safe and stay in one piece the next time the Earth begins to shake.
Thank you guys for watching that video with me. That talked about some pretty scary things. Now, do you see why it may be important for us to understand this topic? So, speaking of, what do you think we'll learn about today? Do you think we'll learn about earthquakes, tornadoes, or lightning bolts? Earthquakes. We will be talking about earthquakes today. Look at this picture. This is a picture after an earthquake occurred on a road or a highway. So you can see cars and people actually were affected by this earthquake. The road actually split. That's pretty scary. Here are some essential questions that we need to ask ourselves throughout our lesson. How do I prepare for an earthquake? What do I do if there is an earthquake? When do I react to an earthquake? We'll think about these throughout. Let's review the steps of synthesizing knowledge. First, listen to the teacher. Second, listen to the whole lesson. Third, think about the information now. Fourth, think about the information later. You will be working for stars today. Once you earn 5 stars after completing the lesson, you can choose from a desired activity. Okay, when someone asks you a question, you listen to the question, listen to all the answer choices, think about your choices, use your problem-solving skills, and use the question or answer the question by choosing one of the answer choices. That means you have a question coming up. Here's our higher order of thinking question. How can you prepare for an earthquake? Let's think about it. Choice 1 says, if I feel an earthquake, I should bring my earthquake emergency kit to a safe place where I will drop, cover, and hold on. Choice 2 says, I will run outside to see what is happening. Which one do you think? You can pause and talk about it with your class. Great job thinking together with your higher order thinking question. Let's go over some vocabulary terms for this lesson. Earthquake. That is the shaking, rolling, or sudden shock of the Earth's surface. Earthquake drill. That is practicing drop, cover, and hold on. Aftershock. A smaller earthquake which comes after a large earthquake. We'll learn more about all of these terms throughout our lesson. Here's the main idea I would like for you guys to take from this lesson. If there is an earthquake, I will find a safe place and drop, cover, and hold on. We'll talk more about what that means. You guys are doing a fantastic job. You've earned 2 stars. Woo! All right, we're going to be reading about earthquake safety with Tracy. Tracy feels an earthquake. An earthquake is dangerous. An earthquake shakes the ground. Ooh, yikes. Tracy must be quick during an earthquake. She wants to stay safe. Tracy follows 5 safety rules. Let's look at the 5 safety rules for an earthquake. First, have a disaster plan. Second, have an emergency kit. Third, find a safe place. Fourth, drop, cover, and hold on. Fifth, stay alert. I'd like for you to pause the video and talk about how these rules compare to our other safety rules that we've talked about with Tracy. Rule 1. Have a disaster plan. A disaster plan is steps you follow during a disaster. You need to know where to go and what you need. Then practice your plan and be prepared. Rule 2. Have an emergency kit. An emergency kit has things that will help keep you safe. Tracy has an emergency kit for an earthquake. The emergency kit has blankets, a first aid kit, water bottles, food, batteries, flashlight, radio, and a cell phone. Does that sound familiar to you guys? Talk about what else you can use this emergency kit for. Okay, rule 3. This one's very important. Find a safe place. It is important to know the safest place in your house. Heavy objects can fall during an earthquake. Find a safe place away from anything that can fall on you. We have a question up next. Where is a safe place in your home if there is an earthquake? So think about your home. Are you safest under a table, outside, or in your bed? Under the table, that's where you would be safest in your home. Can you think of other safe places in your home if there's an earthquake? I bet you can think of a few more. Tracy finds a safe place under a table during the earthquake. There is nothing heavy near the table. Nothing can fall on Tracy. It is the safest place in the room. Rule 4. Drop, cover, and hold on. Drop to the floor, cover your head, and hold on. You do not want to stand up or move around during an earthquake. Tracy drops to the ground and covers her head. She does not move or get up. Tracy waits until the earthquake stops. You guys can pause the video and talk about why it's important to stay on the ground and cover your head instead of standing up during an earthquake. Rule 5. Stay alert. An earthquake is dangerous. You must be aware of the danger. An earthquake can have an aftershock. That means the ground can shake again. Be prepared and stay safe. Okay, you guys have another question. Why is it important to stay aware of danger after the earthquake has stopped? Fire, aftershock, or rain? Aftershock. Aftershock, remember, is like a smaller earthquake after the first big earthquake. So you want to be aware of if the aftershock has occurred yet and stay safe in your safe place until that has already passed. Amazing! You guys get 3 stars! Woo! Okay, the earthquake stops. Tracy stays down and waits. There may be aftershocks. The ground may shake again. Tracy stays safe. The end. Thank you guys so much for reading that story with me. Now we have another question. But first, we have to think. What is the problem? How do you know? What do you need to solve the problem? Do you have all the information? Try to solve. Is it wrong? That's okay. Try again. What should I do once I find a safe place? Drop, cover, and hold on. Cry. Or stop, drop, and roll. Drop, cover, and hold on. When we're talking about earthquakes, the protocol is to drop, cover, and hold on. Awesome job! 4 stars. Okay, our diversity piece is coming up. So we've listened to the lesson. How does it apply in the school, in the community, and the world? We're going to learn about something called tsunamis today for our diversity piece.
A tragic scene. Entire cities flooded, entire towns inundated, an unending stream of floating debris. Buildings, cars, people swept away in an unstoppable wave. It's a brutal reminder tsunamis are dangerous and unpredictable. But what causes these giant waves and what can be done to minimize their impact? Tsunamis can strike with little warning because they're usually triggered by a sudden displacement of ocean water, like volcanic eruptions, landslides, meteorites, or, the most common culprit, earthquakes. In the deep ocean, a typical tsunami wave is barely noticeable and poses little threat. But the waves can spread out thousands of miles, rolling across the ocean at speeds up to 600 miles per hour. As the rolling water reaches the shoreline, the wave's friction against the shallower floor slows it down and raises its height. By the time it reaches the shore, the wave can be as tall as 100 feet. Unlike ordinary waves, a tsunami wave doesn't crest and break. Instead, it moves forward like a solid wall of water that crashes over the coastline, obliterating almost everything in its path. And just when you think the danger is over, it recedes, dragging everything back to the ocean. Tsunamis have multiple waves which can continue to hit the shore for several hours, causing even more destruction. The word tsunami originates from Japan, a country that sits on a geographic location that makes it an easy target for these natural disasters. In 2011, it was struck by a tsunami that claimed nearly 16,000 lives. But the deadliest tsunami in history is believed to be the Indian Ocean tsunami of 2004. The U.S. Geological Survey estimated that tsunami released the energy equivalent of 23,000 Hiroshima-type atomic bombs. An earthquake created an estimated 600-mile rupture on the ocean floor. This caused the tsunami to form and then travel at the speed of a jetliner, reaching over 11 countries, traveling over 3,000 miles, killing more than 220,000 people. Because they can strike so quickly with such deadly force, tsunami warning centers around the globe are on constant alert, monitoring underwater earthquakes large enough to trigger massive waves. Their ultimate goal is to alert vulnerable coastlines and give residents time to seek higher ground before a tsunami hits.
Wow, that was a pretty terrifying video. So tsunamis can be caused by a few things, but one of the largest causes for tsunamis is earthquakes that occur underneath the ocean. So they can cause that massive wave that just destroys everything in its path. It's pretty terrifying. And like you saw, the word tsunami comes from Japan, a place where this has occurred many times because of where they're located in the world. Thanks for watching that with me, you guys. So now let's review. You guys are almost done with your science video today. Great job. So an earthquake. Here's another picture of an earthquake. That is the shaking, rolling, or sudden shock of the Earth's surface. It's important to have an earthquake emergency kit. This is the same kit that you would use for a tornado emergency kit, a hurricane emergency kit, and later on we'll talk about a winter storm emergency kit. So it's very important to go ahead and have this packed. It's the same for everything. That way you're prepared for pretty much all disasters that could occur. Okay, and we want to remember this sequence. Drop, so drop under a safe, sturdy surface like a table or a bed. Cover, so cover yourself. And hold on because things might be shaking and falling around you, so you want to hold on. It's a great idea for you guys to practice this sequence. Okay, you have earned a prize. You guys have done such a wonderful job paying attention and learning about earthquakes today. So you can choose from a desired activity. I would like for you to complete this activity for today. You will be reading a story called Earthquake Drill. Then you will be completing an earthquake emergency response plan and an earthquake drill checklist. You can make a plan for home or school. Okay, and then you guys have some questions to answer about the story you read. Here are some optional activities if you guys would like to spend some more time learning about earthquakes. There's a brain pop that your teacher can show you on earthquakes. Or you can play the rabbit in the hole game with your class. Your teacher can tell you more about that. Thank you guys so much for learning with me today. Can't wait to see you next week. Bye.